I just felt really alone, and I just felt like no one else understood what I was going through, and I just thought it wasn't going to end. Last year I lost two of my aunties due to cancer at different times, and my uncle, and he's like a dad to me, like a second dad. I also found out that he had cancer as well. At the same time, I found out my dad also had skin cancer too. So it was just a lot of disappointment happening all at the same time.
The primary way that I've dealt with grief and loss in my life is probably due to the loss of my father back when I was around 8 or 9 years old. It was very hard at first. Those first couple years after my dad died, we just had so much emotions about it, and just looked at life like, why did this happen?
I came to the United States about 6 years ago, and moving to a different country and starting a life somewhere is grieving the loss of being far away from my family, but also not being able to share my experiences and my problems with my family. So I think that would probably be mine.
The way how I've dealt with it or how us as a family collectively have dealt with it, is that we've just leaned on each other. We just never let go of one another. And so to this day, I'm really close to my mom, really close to my brother. We all love each other. And yeah, it just builds that sense of family and togetherness.
After a lot of disappointment just kept on happening, I didn't know what else to do. I just felt like no one else understood what I was going through, and I just thought it wasn't going to end. I just remember writing to God and just praying and talking to Him and just being so angry at Him that things were not getting better and things were actually getting worse with so much disappointment and news. But looking back and reflecting on it, I could just see how it just made me lean on God even more, and the pieces and the broken pieces that He needed, He just sees the bigger picture, and I just have to remember that in the moment and in where I'm at in life. Yes, it looks good to me, but God always has a bigger plan, and He sees the bigger picture at hand. So, yeah.
After I transferred here in January, I think my birthday was about 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after the semester started. Towards the end of the day, while I was doing my homework, I broke down and started crying because it wasn't the birthday that I had imagined. And I cried out to God about it. I was like, this is just not a good day. This year in general is not starting out great for me. And I want to enjoy the time that I'm gonna have to spend here. And I'm a physical touch kind of person, and I think in that moment I had asked God to show Himself to me, and I felt I was the only one in my room. I didn't have a roommate. I had felt a huge hug. It was very comforting. And it was the reminder and the reassurance that I needed, that in that moment, that God was right there with me. And I probably felt that maybe one or two other times in my whole life, but it was very, very pivotal for me in that moment to keep going. And so knowing that as big as God is, He is very intentional about every single one of us and our stories and our journeys. And I think that's one of the things that keeps me going even until now.